Hi, Alissa.
Hey, Katy.
Welcome. It's like an open house.
Yes.
Oh, I should have brought some, like, a tray of cookies.
Oh, like staged it like an open house?
staged it like an open house.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't. Well, missed opportunities. Welcome to episode number 293. It is St. Patty's Day.
Yay!
On top of all this, we would have had the perfect theme.
Oh, man.
God, I really dropped
Sorry,
the ball.
YouTube. We let you down.
We've dropped the ball so many ways.
It's fine.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about open houses.
Yeah, and we have not talked about open houses since episode number 11.
That's correct.
And that episode, y'all, is really good, if I do say so myself.
It's really a how-to.
It is, and the stories in it are some of my favorite, and I was trying to be mindful that I don't say the same thing. There's some topics I feel like we can revisit from a different perspective.
Yeah.
But even episode 11 from 5 years ago,
It's pretty standard.
I'm like, yeah, this is still good.
Yes.
Good information.
I do think we've traveled through a space where open houses almost died.
Yes.
They do seem to have been revived.
Very much so.
Especially with all the new rules, and maybe buyers are a little more non-committal
Mhm.
at first, and they just want to get out to the house, or also, or both. The market's tougher.
Very, yeah. Houses are sitting longer.
Right.
So we have to do more for marketing.
And open houses are the number one thing that your sellers will likely request of you, where they can see what you're doing.
Correct.
They're like, I see you were at the house for 2 hours. Tell me who showed up.
Mm-hmm.
So It was time to talk about open houses again.
Yeah. I think it'll be a good revisit today.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
How do you want to start?
I kind of want to discuss a little bit about the evolution
Please.
of even us as experienced agents.
Yeah. Yes, please do. Because I posted over the weekend, I did an open house and I posted a little video of my setup, and an agent DM'd me and said, I thought you didn't do open houses. And I was like,
well, it comes and goes.
Just did one. Okay, so talk about the evolution.
But you used to do them like when you were sort of farming, because you used to try to schedule one the first weekend of every listing.
Yes. I loved to do it on the very first, like take a listing on Thursday or Friday and have it already in the system scheduled for Sunday, especially when I had sellers who maybe had children or pets, or like getting out repeatedly for showings was going to be more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Then I liked having that open house so that maybe we could just get everyone to show up for that.
Yes.
Like, just don't.
Right. Come at this time slot. That would be
which
best.
only worked before the market got frenzied, because in the frenzied market, you can't wait a day.
No.
You got to go the minute it's listed.
Mm-hmm. So that was like the COVID years. You had to like
Pre-COVID. Yes. And so pre-COVID, I could do an open house the first weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I think the market was still moving pretty well, but it was really in an effort to, one, let your sellers see you doing something.
Yes.
And two, saying, look, I'm doing this for your convenience.
Mm-hmm.
You can get out one time for 2 hours, and I'll try to push everyone who wants to see it to come during the open house.
I also felt like that was a great way for you to get in front of people.
Yeah.
Like at that time,
Yeah.
if you're, trying to build your buyer base or even your listing base.
Yeah,
Because
for
I
sure.
found that I got more listing leads from holding houses open than I did buyer leads.
Really?
Which surprised me. But
Yeah.
it was like people who were coming through and meeting me, they're like, oh, well, you work. And we got to talk at the open house. We got to meet you.
Yeah.
We like how you handled yourself. Can you sell our house?
Right.
Sure. Hey there, are you looking for ways to save time and money in your business?
Email Templates 101 is the communication system you need to bring ease and efficiency to managing your transactions and clients.
Save time and avoid mistakes, all while providing a high level of service for your buyers and sellers.
In Email Templates 101, you'll get 13 downloadable buyer templates ready for your personal touches.
And 19 downloadable seller templates, plus 6 attachment checklist.
Head over to hustlehumblypodcast.com/courses to get yours today.
So then during the COVID years.
Nobody did an open house.
Right. And then we're coming out of the COVID years.
And then the market was too crazy to even have time to do an open house.
Correct. And now we're in 2025, and 2024 was down compared. But I do think you're right that the NAR buyer brokerage agreement brought open. There's some in the beginning when we were trying to figure out all the BBA stuff.
Yeah.
There were agents who were like, open house Monday through Friday from
Every day, all day?
every day, all day. And I'm like, are they just using the house as their office now to say it's always open? You don't need to commit to anything. Just come see the house and
Right, please.
come buy it. Yeah, I feel similar. I think 2023, 2024 is when I started doing them again after COVID.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I was having a mindset issue.
Right.
For sure. And I
Right.
think even this episode, look, episode 11 is funny and has really good stories. This is more like, hey, look, we're two experienced agents and sometimes we have mindset issues around open houses because you wonder, is it really helping? You have to leave your family on a weekend, get dressed, like do all of that.
I am, and it also, I'm very concerned about my safety.
Yes.
And like, I have children and a family, and I don't want to go and allow strangers
Yeah.
to meet me in a place where I am stationary.
Yes.
Like, you know where I am, and I have advertised that I'm here alone.
Yeah. I should be more concerned about my safety, not just at open houses. But
That is my prime concern about doing an open house, honestly. It isn't the doing it on a weekend. Yes, maybe annoying, but if you're not doing it every weekend, fine. It isn't the, like, no one will show up, I'll be a waste of my time. No, it is just the safety issue. And I have had enough creepy people show up to be like, why am I doing this to myself? And so I have also started, and for years, even probably pre-COVID, I don't default to let's do an open house.
Correct. Yeah.
It really is more of a vibe off of the specific house and the seller's requests, right? But my first thing that I would say to sellers is like, listen, it's not a great safety situation for me or you.
Yeah.
Strangers, if you live here, especially, strangers, I cannot filter in any way are coming into your home.
Right.
I mean, when they leave at the end of the open house, you need to check that all of your windows are locked. You need to
put away medication.
You have to take all that stuff with you, before the open house. Like, you can't. Strangers. I cannot, like, and also, do you want something to happen to me inside of your home where you live? I don't think so.
Yeah.
So that was kind of always my talking point. And most people would be like, no thanks.
Yeah.
I don't want it. Because it is the truth.
Yeah, you have to be careful.
I cannot filter. I don't know who they are. They could sign the book. They could not sign the book. They could give me a fake name. They could show up with a friend who you don't even realize they're together.
Yeah.
Like, you're really vulnerable.
Sure.
Okay, but sorry. So you did open houses.
I've never felt unsafe at an open house. I felt more unsafe when I was working like sign calls and stuff.
Yeah.
And would go meet someone for the first time. Because to me, that was more like, they know we're not going to be interrupted because this is a private appointment.
Yeah, that's worse.
For an open house, I always felt like the predator could think anybody's walking in at any time. Like, I'm not necessarily alone.
But the creepiest people always come at 4:00 to a vacant house.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not, maybe at 2 p.m. when you start, that's less likely. But the creeps come at 4.
So you just did an open house
for
the first time in a minute.
Sure did.
Which sort of inspired this episode because I was like, okay, in all transparency, we believe this podcast works because we are in the trenches with y'all actually selling real estate.
Right.
We are not real estate coaches that failed at selling real estate and decided to become a real estate coach instead.
Yeah.
We do this podcast.
Let me tell you what to do, even though I'm not doing it.
Correct. So we wanted to be very transparent. When we were talking amongst ourselves about the open house debacle, I kind of thought our listeners could benefit from just listening to this conversation and banter.
Sure.
Where our headspace is at.
Right.
What's going on in the market? Sellers are getting antsy. This may be something we have to revisit.
Yeah.
Because before this one that you just recently did, how long had it been? Years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely years.
Yeah. And I'm not doing them every Sunday, but I have done them more sporadically.
I have done them in the last 5 years that we've been on, but I couldn't even pinpoint one.
Yeah, but it's also COVID during that.
Yeah, so I'm
that
like,
sort of changed
it's been a
things.
while.
Yeah. And
It's been a
then I
while.
remember one of my first ones that I did after COVID. It was so hard to get my mindset right.
Right.
And I was doing it because it was my childhood friend's parents' home. They had moved away. The house was empty. It wasn't showing. It was like nothing was happening. I was doing paid ads online. But like you
Yeah.
said, that's not something you're showing them that it's like the efforts I was doing.
They don't know how long that takes you either.
Right.
They don't know what you're doing or how long it's taking you.
Whereas an open house is a practical, concrete thing
Yeah.
that
It's
you are
for
at the
looks.
home.
Look, a lot of times it's for looks.
Yeah, to help your sellers. But I remember this house specifically thinking I had a bad attitude. I didn't want to go. And then I thought, too, if I do this one, does this mean I'm going to
I've opened
be
the door.
back
Yeah.
to doing open houses all the time? And when I tell you it was one of the best open houses I've ever had, and I left there feeling so humbled
Right. You're
and
like, oh,
foolish.
it wasn't that bad.
And an agent had actually sent her clients to the open house, and they came and they said, yeah, our agent told me to just come look and this and that. And they ended up sending me a purchase agreement through their agent like the next day.
Yeah.
But aside from those people, I had some really great conversations. This elderly man came in and I just thought he was precious, and I was talking to him and we realized he knew my grandfather and they grew up in the same area. Anyway, I just was like, this was nice.
It was nice.
You know, it was also a nice neighborhood where the neighbors were close by, knew the open house was happening. Like I didn't feel unsafe, and everything was just good. And I thought to myself, you know, this open house went so well. I can see that they could work.
Yeah.
Not just for getting the house exposure, but also for reminding me as an experienced agent what it's like to have small talk with new people I've
good
never
practice.
met. Yes, it's good practice. Remembering the questions that buyers ask about houses, having to sharpen all those skills about what it means to market a property. And so I do try to save them for emergencies. That's not the right word. When a house isn't selling, when there's no showings.
Yeah.
If there's showings, I don't feel like I need to host one.
No.
Because we're getting feedback.
And I'm so glad you said that, because this house that I did hold open is not getting showings.
Okay.
We've had one showing that led to an offer that ended up not working out, like during the contract. Another showing that almost led to an offer but did not work out. And one additional showing. It's been on the market several weeks.
So 2 out of 3 of your showings made offers?
Yeah, but no one else is coming.
Yeah, now it's stagnant.
So I won't tell y'all the results of who came to the open house yet.
Okay.
We'll hold it.
Okay, great.
Are you done with your
I think so.
revisit through your vibes?
Yes.
Through your open house vibes?
I will say, just to sort of like my evolution, you know, you can go back and listen to episode 11 where I talk about it more. But like in the beginning, when I had no listings, I held everybody else's open and I tried to focus on an area, which was really helpful because I was seeing a lot of repeat people being in the same big neighborhood.
Yeah.
Then I was getting my own listings and was doing them, and I felt like the impact was less for me,
right?
Because I was wherever my listings were.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same area. And then now at this stage in my career, I do have an assistant or other new agents that
want to
say,
do that.
hey, can I hold your houses open?
Uh-huh.
And it has made me realize that when I hold my own listings open, they go so much better. At no fault of these other agents.
No.
Because I'm the same way. When I was holding other people's listings open.
You didn't know the age of the roof.
Well, I may know that, but I didn't know where the sellers were moving. And I know people are like, oh, you can't say that. Yes, you can with permission, right?
Right.
It meant nothing. Like when I held my listing open, that first one after COVID, my clients had moved to the Carolinas to be close to their grandchildren. It wasn't a secret. I was allowed to say that. But it was like they would walk in and be like, wow, okay. Oh, they've already moved out. It's empty. Yeah. Like, where did they go? Oh, well, they lived here for this long.
Right.
I knew the story.
Yes.
I was able to tell the story and say they moved to go be with their grandkids. They're just so ready.
Yeah.
They're so ready to just cut the ties here and be fully present there. And they're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
But if you don't know those people,
right.
and if you don't know, maybe it's not even the story of where they went. Maybe
Sometimes it's the story of the listing.
Yes.
How many people have been coming that we just had an offer that ended up not working out because of financing? So it just came back on the market. Like there are things that those people in that open house maybe wouldn't realize if you, the listing agent, weren't there.
Yeah. And it also shows in the questions that I get texted when somebody else is holding one of my listings open. Some of the questions aggravate me because I'm like, did you research it? Did you look at the property disclosure? All that information is there.
And in my listings, it's also there in the binder.
Right.
So you could literally read it or show it to an open house attendee. It's all in the binder.
Yes.
But you should be studying before you hold an open house.
Yeah. Like one of them texted me and was like, what are the HOA dues? And I wanted to say, this is so public and plastered everywhere. And I didn't even see it until later because I was with my kids doing something.
Right.
But it just made me realize the effectiveness of me being there.
Yeah.
So that, but I also don't want to be there every single time.
No.
So I thought, okay, what I need to do is schedule a call, or if they're in my office, go see them and say, listen, I want to tell you what I know so that when you are in the open house dealing with people, you can speak with experience, conviction, like the truth, like the one I'm holding open Sunday. I'm doing it this time. It has been held open many times.
Okay.
Not by me. I did one of them, but it's been held open a lot.
Okay.
It's been on the market since August.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. It's been a long time. What people don't realize is that we got stuck in a contingency situation
for a large chunk of that time.
For a huge chunk of time.
Mm-hmm.
And the extensions and the promises and the this and the that. And so I want to give it a shot to be like, okay, I need people to understand
this house. There's something wrong with this house.
Right. And I want to be the one to deliver that message almost because I don't trust anybody else to. But I thought if I could prep these agents better to say, look, when people come through, I want you to feel like you can connect with them because you know the story of the house.
And y'all, when I am in an open house, it's the same thing as what you're going to do. I volunteer information without being asked.
Yeah.
Like as they're touring around, I might pop in and be like, hey, just wanted to let you know we were under contract for a while and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not going to know to ask, or they're not going to say what's been going on with this listing.
Right.
You got to like kind of give them the information you want them to have.
Yeah.
Like, you need this information. They're like, hey, listen, we do have a buyer who's been really interested and has come for, a second showing. And we're supposed to get an offer. I don't have it yet.
Yes.
So do let me know if you like the house.
Those are things that the listing agent feels comfortable saying because they know.
They know. Now, I will also say, even as the listing agent holding my own open house, I still study before I go.
Right.
How many showings have we had? What is the square footage? What are the ages of everything? Like, I read through the book. Like, I go. So whether it's your listing or someone else's listing, you should be studying before an open house.
Yes.
If you're not prepared with as much data and knowledge as possible, it's not going to go very well when you do get one or two or maybe only 3 people in there. You don't have any time to waste.
Sure.
Like, I can't be messing up on one person if only one person comes.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So that's the end of your evolution.
Yeah, that's where I'm at now. I
like
thought, I have assistants now. They can do the open houses. And then I thought,
I think you also enjoy giving other agents that it is an opportunity. It is an opportunity to practice. It is an opportunity to maybe pick up some other business. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's why people who are really working hard will start calling all these other agents like, can I hold your house open? That's great.
I also like to tell my sellers, look, one of my office colleagues is going to host the open house. I really want to get fresh eyes.
Yeah.
I want fresh eyes on the property.
Someone who's excited to be there.
Yeah. I want to see if they have feedback. Is there something I've missed? I've been to the house so many times.
Right.
I want somebody else to go look at it and spend 2 hours there. When presented that way, I've never had a seller give me any pushback
Be like,
about
you're not going to do it yourself.
Yeah. And if I also try not to, like, if it's been done by 2 people, maybe the 3rd time I need to go and do it. Not every single time. So it's almost like I'm like, yay, assistants can do it. And then I'm like, no, I need to be there sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, the assistants can do it, but they do need to be prepared and understand the things that even if they studied the MLS, I want them to know the backstory. And I want them to know, I want them to be able to emotionally connect with the situation of the house and answer those questions.
And like something about the house. Hey, I love this house because my favorite restaurant is around the corner.
Yes.
Like you just have to be more excited about it. You can just be like, here's the bedroom.
Right. Yeah.
Here's the kitchen. It needs some paint.
Right. I'm holding this house open because it has no showings. Do you want it?
This is so stale and boring. I am bored and this house is boring.
Yeah, I know.
Like, we're going to have to spice it up. Or else what was the point of going?
I have to be highly caffeinated.
Whatever works. Yeah. I eat the cookies. I ate a cookie while I was there. Okay, so let's do the open house checklist.
Yeah.
And then we are actually also going to share some of the email templates that we use during this checklist. Are you ready for the logistics?
Is this going to, they're going to email us. Is this
for the checklist?
Like, do we have this? Don't we have I don't think we do.
I don't think
Jay
we do.
might have to edit a little while we discuss this. I was just
I
trying
don't
to
think we
figure
do
out
either. And that's okay. Y'all can get out a pen and a notebook. If you want the list, it's not that long.
It's not that long. Write it down. Yeah. Okay.
Jot it down.
I was just thinking.
The free part of this is me saying it to you.
We monitor the Hustle Humbly email, obviously. And I have realized every time we mention something in an episode, I'm like, look at our inbox.
You're like,
the inbox is full.
Okay, here's the checklist. The checklist is not available. You can jot it down. It's 6 steps.
Yeah, make your own notes.
Okay. It's
not rocket science.
That's it.
Okay, it has been brought to our attention that it would actually be very helpful if we made this checklist for you. We understand some of you are driving, so drive safely. Do not grab a pen and paper.
Yeah, maybe you're at the gym. Maybe you're pushing your baby in a stroller. We don't know what you're doing, but we can't expect you to get out a pen and a paper right now.
Yeah, so you can just go to hustlehumblypodcast.com/openhouseprep, and we have typed out this 7-point agent open house checklist for you.
You're gonna love it.
That's what we're here for, y'all. We just want to provide value, free value all the time.
So happy to help.
So go get your free open house agent checklist at hustlehumblypodcast.com/openhouseprep.
Number 1. Sign up no later than Wednesday. Signs up no later than Wednesday.
Yes.
This is your checklist for the record.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the checklist I give to my assistant when we have an open house. I gave it to Katy just for her most recent
I'm
open
using
house.
my air quotes. Utilize it. After we go through this checklist, I'll give you my lazy girl open house guide.
Okay.
Because I did the lazy open house.
And I say no later than Wednesday. I think Monday.
You want the sign up that says open house with the arrow and the time and the day.
Yes, and maybe like those on the directionals. Like a few directionals up early.
Okay.
Maybe they get stolen, maybe they don't. But I think the sooner you can get some signs out that week,
the
better.
Okay, great. You stay on the main sign at the house.
Yep.
Plus bring 1 or 2 open house directionals as well. And then you have, maybe we can stick the open house Sunday 1 to 3 or whatever time writer on the directional signs too.
Well, most of the directional signs just say open house.
Yeah, you need to know when.
But, yeah.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, so I like sticking the sign writer on the corner of the directional signs.
How often do your directionals get stolen?
I haven't had that issue lately.
I think the guy's gone now. Y'all don't know this.
Yeah.
For years and years. There was an older fella, I believe.
Yes.
It even was on the news here, who would just, you couldn't even hold an open house and put the sign in the ground at 2 and it still be there at 4 when you go to pick it up.
I don't know how he
stole
did it.
all the signs. His garage was plastered.
He died.
I had to have.
And they found all of our signs.
In his garage. Like, he really hated a real estate sign. He was so mad.
But what's weird is he kept them.
Why?
And they were like in his backyard.
Because I guess he thought you would stop
garage.
putting them out if you didn't have them.
But he could have thrown them in a dumpster.
He was obsessed. Anyway, side note.
So anyway, mine don't really get stolen. But I do try to be mindful
of where you put them.
Yeah, where they go.
Great. Okay. Step 1, signs up. Step 2, schedule in MLS and change the main photo. What do you change the main photo to?
I like to put a banner that says open Sunday 2 to 4.
With the date.
With the date.
On the actual first photo.
Yes.
Okay.
Because our MLS does have a place to allow you to schedule an open house,
Mhm.
which usually syncs with
That's
the
correct.
Zillows and the
Mhm.
Realtor.coms and all of that. But I do like to change the main photo.
Yeah.
Because I don't, the photo is everywhere
Yeah.
online. So even if they aren't seeing the open house, they're at least
it's on the photo.
It's on the photo.
Yeah, people pay attention to the photos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, step 3. Paid ad to run on Facebook no later than Wednesday, run through Sunday evening, I guess, if you're hosting it Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and target a radius around the address. The rules with real estate ads because of fair housing,
Mm-hmm.
The smallest radius you can get, I think, is 15 miles from the location, which here, that is basically like the entire town plus all of the surround, 15-mile radius, pretty big.
It used to let you narrow it down more, but they think
you can give it the zip code or the address, and it'll be that radius. So fine, it's not going to advertise it to someone in
another state.
Montana, but even still, it's not like you're targeting a zip code.
Again, I like to do these, 1, because I do think people see them.
Okay.
2, they're not expensive.
How much?
I usually like to throw like $20 at it.
Okay.
Because you can pick your budget.
You can.
And so, but I also just like to let my sellers know I've done that.
Yes.
So it's easy. It's not very expensive. And I do think it helps. And then we let them know.
Great. That leads to step number 4, which is email to your seller.
Mm-hmm.
If we send the email several times, you're just tweaking it. Okay.
I have an email that I send to my sellers letting them know that we have this open house scheduled. Would you like me to read it?
Please read it.
Okay. Hi, seller. I've scheduled an open house Sunday from 2 to 4. I did a paid social media ad for the open house targeting your area. I also sent out an email invitation to every agent that has shown the house so far to forward to their clients. So, if they've shown the house before, I want to be like, it's open if they want to take a second look.
Mm-hmm.
I just do that in showing time.
Mm-hmm.
I also like to email the top 50 agents that are in that area. I encourage them to send buyers that they have in this price range. I assure them that I respect agency relationships, so please send your clients. It will be on several websites as well as in the paper. Yes, our company still does stuff with the paper. So hopefully we will have a good turnout. Cheers to a successful open house.
Okay, that template, this going to the seller, is in Email Templates 101.
Oh, okay. Great.
So if you want the template, Email Templates 101. It is there. Okay, but now you've heard it.
Yeah, and then here's the thing. If I'm doing several open houses on a long-term listing, I made that note for my assistant. Look, use your judgment. We don't want to send this exact email
the same way.
Or maybe they don't need it at all. Sometimes I just message them and say, hey guys, I'm holding it open this Sunday. I'm going to follow the same protocol that I always do with inviting everybody and doing the ads. Let me know if you need anything.
Okay.
I just want to make sure,
All right. We've told the seller. Let's talk about step 5, which is basically contacting realtors.
Yes.
Okay. So if you have a database of realtors in some way, you can email them like that. All right, fine.
Do you know why I started doing that?
Why?
Because there was one agent in particular who always had multiple open houses.
Mm-hmm.
And she would send a summary of her open houses that weekend and would word it as, hey, if you have buyers that are close to this criteria, why don't you just send it to them and see if they want to stop by?
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, 1, that's very helpful because it allows me to check in with those people.
Be like, hey,
who maybe we wouldn't make an appointment on this house, but it lets them know I'm keeping an eye out.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about you.
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage my buyers to attend open houses.
Right.
They know the rules. They know to say that I'm their agent. Usually Sundays around 4:30, I start getting text messages from agents letting me know my clients came and this and that. But I thought to myself, I appreciated knowing. And then usually it comes in a pretty email with pictures of the house and a link. So it's just easy.
Yeah.
So it's easy for me to forward to my buyers.
Right.
So I thought maybe I should do the same.
So you just started saving agents' email addresses into a database?
Oh, well, yeah. Every time I have a closing, I have a tag in my MailChimp that's just realtors.
Okay.
So I do have anybody I've ever worked with, like in my MailChimp.
On a list.
But then sometimes I'll just go to that area in
Mhm.
MLS and see who sold, and I'll copy and paste listing agent and buyer agent into the BCC.
Okay.
Like maybe I haven't worked with them, but they seem to work this area.
Read us that email.
Oh, okay.
When
Is
you're
this an
invi-
email
you're
templates?
I don't know, it's probably not. This is when you're inviting a realtor to your open house.
Okay. There's 2.
We'll do this one. The first one.
Okay.
The short one.
Hey, I see you sold a house in Bullion Crossing recently. I wanted to share with you that this home will be open Sunday if you have any buyers that you would like to send. I always honor realtor relationships and would love for your buyers to tour this home. My sellers are motivated and easy to work with. Here's the link. Thank you.
Now, how many, you're saying you're pulling the people who recently were the listing or the buyer's agent
In that neighborhood.
in that neighborhood. It can't be that many emails.
It's not.
Okay, so that's
Unless
pretty
it's like
easy.
a really big neighborhood.
Right, okay.
And how far back do I go?
Right. Now, the other email you have is different.
That is more generic, more to the people that I know.
Okay, tell us what that is. This is also to realtors.
Yes. Hey, friend, if you have any buyers looking in 70810 in the $400,000 to $500,000 price range, please send them this email and encourage them to come walk through the open house on Sunday. Here's the link. It's this many acres. It's got a renovated kitchen and bathroom, over 2,900 square feet, amazing location near both interstates. Just tell your buyers to let me know you are their agent. I always honor agency relationships and would love to do another deal with you. P.S. If you would like to look through the photos and send me some of your professional feedback, I would be more than happy to repay the favor on one of your listings. Just email me back with feedback that you have, plus the address of your listing that you would like me to take a look at for you.
So this is a two-parter.
A 2-parter.
Send your buyers to my open house if you want. Here's the details. And 2, what do you think about this house?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd be happy to look at one of yours.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was step number 5.
Yes.
Number
Realtor databases.
Number
yeah.
6.
I think it is good to post in local Facebook groups.
Yeah, like a buy, sell, trade.
Yeah, or
your
like
location.
Ascension Real Estate, or
Right.
Baton Rouge Real Estate.
Post the open house. If you have access to that area's next door.
And I tell my assistant to do it under her Facebook if she wants.
Yeah.
And maybe she can get leads.
Right.
And she does. Like
Yeah.
she does get people that respond to
Have
it or
questions.
ask questions.
Mhm.
And now she's chatting with people.
Yeah, right.
If I was hardcore looking for new buyers outside of my database,
Yeah.
I used to do that.
Yeah.
And now she's doing it. So I'm like, you're helping me. I'm helping you. What can we do here to just.
Yeah, and I think I would put maybe a step 7. Have your seller share it into their neighborhood HOA.
Oh.
Something that you don't have access to, but maybe they do. Or their local next door app. Like if you're not living in that immediate area, you won't have access.
You know what you should do? You should make your seller a graphic with what
that they could share.
And just say, hey.
You could even just send them that front photo where you put the date and time on it.
Yeah, but you could, have the price and your information and say, hey, can you go share this in the neighborhood Facebook group?
That's not a bad idea.
That's a great idea.
Okay,
You're
like
brilliant.
it. I know.
Brilliant.
Well, can you imagine? Okay, so that's it. Those are your steps for the open house checklist. Now,
I will say,
yes,
I have noticed a huge difference in turnout with prep.
sure.
Obviously.
Right.
But in case you needed to hear that to believe it,
give me like an example.
I did one time and I totally dropped the ball.
Just forgot you didn't do your ad.
I didn't do my ad. It was in MLS.
Okay.
That's the only thing that did get done.
Okay.
Nothing else was done.
Mm-hmm.
No one came. Not one.
On a Sunday, 2 to 4?
On a Sunday, 2 to 4,
Okay.
nobody came.
Okay.
And I thought, it's the house.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks later,
Mm-hmm.
I do it again
Mm-hmm.
with the whole checklist done. It never stopped.
Also Sunday, 2 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I just think, I don't know, was the day different? But I do think that
nothing had changed about the house, like the price or anything.
Correct. I also think if I had done all of this and nobody came, to me, that's a huge feedback for the seller.
Yeah, your price is wrong.
So wrong. Like something is not right here because we did all this.
Yeah.
The day that nobody came, that I hadn't done some of the other prep work,
Mm-hmm.
I thought I didn't really do a great job advertising this.
Okay.
which is why I
Do
wanted
you know
to
if
do
you
it again.
switched out the front photo on the first time around where it said
It did
open
say
house?
open house Sunday 2 to 4.
Okay, on your MLS photo.
Mhm.
Okay.
That was done.
Okay.
Probably not early enough.
Oh,
Like, maybe that was done on Friday.
interesting.
That's why I started adding no later than Wednesday. No later than Wednesday. But to me, Monday, Tuesday is
It's fine.
great, you know?
Okay. This is interesting. All right.
Trying to crack the code.
I know it's sometimes you can't, but we're going to try. The last part I would say before we move on to my case study,
Mhm.
because I'm going to give you the lazy open house guide.
Okay.
Make sure your seller is getting the instructions from you that, like on ours, it's email templates when their house is listed and you send them the instructions on how to show the house.
Yeah.
You need to remind them of that and also remind them of their safety things.
Mhm.
You have to remove, your small electronics, your prescription meds, your
jewelry,
firearms, God forbid, like
firearms, jewelry, everything
that stuff.
valuable. Yes.
And remind them that after the open house, they need to just check that everything's secure.
Mhm.
Okay? All right, moving on. Here's my case study.
And I would like to say for your case study,
Please.
when you told me where your house was,
Mm-hmm.
I thought this is not going to go well.
Oh, okay.
I also thought, only because it's sort of like,
Thanks for the photo comment.
it's sort of out there.
It is pretty out
Like,
there.
you're not going to get a lot of traffic of people
This is not a
accidentally in the area.
drive-by situation.
If you are going to this open house, it is because you saw it somewhere and intentionally drove there.
I can't wait to tell you.
And then I thought, you're doing it on a Saturday,
Mhm.
and I haven't had as much luck on Saturday.
Okay, so that's
I thought,
a great place
I don't
to start
know
with
how this is going to go.
My sellers, things are, like I said, showings are slow.
Yeah.
They've adjusted the price a couple of times. They're very motivated. They already have another house under contract. So they're like nervous. Can you do this open house? And I'm like, fine. There's no one coming to see it. So I kind of feel like I have to.
Mhm.
Okay. But I had plans on Sunday. And the week prior, we didn't do it that weekend because it looked like an offer was coming in that at the last minute did not.
Right.
And so it was kind of like, all right, look, we've already waited too long to plan it
Mhm.
and put the word out. So let's do it next weekend. But I had plans on Sunday. I'm like, well, what am I going to do?
Mhm.
Like, you know what? We're going to do it on Saturday. We're going to do it on Saturday from 2 to 4.
Was this your first Saturday open house?
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be. Step one, I recruited my husband to come with me.
Yes.
I said, hey, I have to do this open house. It'd be great if you could come. And he says, I had already planned to. Y'all, for the
Aw.
record, I don't think he has ever come to an open house with me before. But again, I haven't held them in a long time. And I just feel like our safety standards are different now.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I will come with you.
And again, this was in a more of a, not rural, but it's not, it's
more
not
remote-ish.
a more remote area. Yeah. I can
whatever.
see that.
Okay. So I did run the Facebook ad.
Okay.
I spent $25.
Okay.
I did it on, I think, actually Tuesday or Wednesday. It was one of those. Again, it only does the 15-mile radius, so it's a pretty large area. And then I put it in the MLS where I had to say, I checked the box that said I'm having an open house, and I put in the date. I switched out the front photo with a big open house Saturday, Saturday, day and time. Okay. And then I went to Zillow to check and make sure that my open house was there. Y'all, it populated within minutes.
Oh, neat.
Okay, so
From doing it in MLS.
exactly.
Okay.
So I did not have to do anything else. It was already on that list, and I confirmed, like in the MLS, anything that's pulling from MLS is going to whatever
Advertise
website it's
it.
going to have it right
Okay.
in their open house list.
Yeah.
Okay,
Neat.
fine. All right. So, and I did send the seller prep email.
Yeah.
All right. So I did that. And then I did not put out the signs.
Okay. Yes, you
Okay.
did them on your way there.
I did not go to any Facebook groups.
Though, I think the signs in that area,
like it's not
you're
that
not
much.
getting drive-through
No, I
traffic.
don't think so either. Okay. So just before open house, I ran and got some cookies and some balloons from the grocery store. Okay. I like a balloon, especially on a Saturday. I'm like, I need people to know that the sign hasn't just been sitting here.
Yeah.
Like it's right now.
Yeah.
This is happening right now. I needed a balloon that was not like
How many did you get?
4 balloons.
What color were they?
green with green hearts. I just picked a random. I was like, I don't care. Okay. And a little side note, I always leave the balloons with my seller if they have kids. I'm like, here,
Oh, that's
enjoy.
cute.
So I tied them to the front door and
Yeah.
like left them. And I'm like,
Yeah,
here
these
you
are
go.
for you.
These are for you. Okay. So cookies, balloons. I think I ended up spending $10 at the grocery store.
Okay.
For like, some chocolate chip cookies and some balloons. And I put out the signs as we are rolling in. So
Okay.
let's call it 10 minutes before 2.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
We put one on
In true Katy
the
fashion.
main road, like the main road that goes into the neighborhood, 2 balloons, directional sign.
Okay.
Okay. Now, also that day, I did have to go to the Home Depot and buy some directional signs with a blank where I was very like, I got to write Saturday on these things.
Oh, yeah.
Because all the ones I had at home said Sunday 2 to 4.
That's always something that's aggravated me, that it's hard to just have signs,
So Jay is, of course, a genius, but he didn't say it until after I'd already made a fatal error. I go to the Home Depot. I think I spent $5 to $10. I got one big white directional sign that said open house with a big blank where I could write in words.
Okay.
And then 2 smaller rider size red directionals, but they also had a blank for words. Okay. Here I am with my Sharpie writing on it. I'm like, look, I've had luck doing a Sharpie and then like getting fingernail polish remover and taking it off okay-ish.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, well, you should have put a piece of packing tape on first.
Genius.
I was like, son of a gun.
Yeah.
I should have put a piece of packing tape on
Then
first.
Right
on the packing tape and then you rip it right off. Okay, so tip for you.
Yeah.
Because I will tell you, these signs held onto my Sharpie a little bit more than I would have liked. It's not clean.
Okay.
Okay. So packing tape is a good tip. But I wrote on there because I'm like, I need them to know it's Saturday.
Yeah.
It's very crucial. All caps, Saturday, 2 to 4, 2 balloons. Then I had 2 turns that I had to put the signs on, but I just put the planes because now we're in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I just put the regular ones, no balloons, in front of the house. The other sign that said Saturday, 2 to 4, 2 balloons. Okay. When we pulled up, it is now 2.
2 o'clock.
It's 2. There is a man in his car.
Who beat you there?
Who clearly didn't find it by a sign. Okay? He is already there.
Yeah.
Person number 1 at the open house obviously saw it on a website. Okay, great. He seemed very interested. He does his tour. Another couple of ladies come in. I don't know how they found it, but they come through. Fine. A little bit later, I have an older couple come through who said, we just were at our friend's house in the neighborhood and saw your sign. And I'm like, okay, so sign did actually work.
Yeah.
And they came through. And
they weren't neighbors. They were visiting.
They were not neighbors and they were interested in the area. I'm like, okay, great. Then I had a lull.
Yes.
Probably about 30 minutes where Jay and I did the crossword together. So we had our day date. We had a lull. And then towards the end, another couple, very interested, came. They didn't say how they knew about it, but they were actively looking. So maybe they saw it online. I don't know. And then while we were touring them and they're doing their thing, the final group, so the 5th group, comes in. It is my clients who I sold a house to several doors down.
Yes.
I don't know, 5, 6-ish years ago.
Yes.
She was like, we saw your name on the sign. And I was like,
so
oh,
cute.
Sweet. So I caught up. So basically I caught up with
a past client. You can go update your database that you got to talk to them.
I could absolutely do that. So it was 4 groups, 1 neighbor, so 5 total. 2 seemed pretty serious.
Yeah.
I have actually had a follow-up call with 1 and I sent some email information to another. Most people did take the flyer. So I just print the customer MLS sheet.
Yeah.
Okay. That is it. And then I have a stack of market reports because I like to have that CMA. If they want to take it, great, whatever. I used to just bring 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that people wanted to
take it,
hang on to it. I'm like, that's not working.
Yeah.
Okay. But I bring more flyers than market reports because not everybody wants that.
Yeah.
So I had 10 flyers. I had 5 market reports.
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. Most people took the flyer. Only 1 person filled out the sign-in sheet.
Okay.
But I did not ask anyone to.
Okay.
So I did a terrible job. On the second set of ladies that came in, I was like, oh, I forgot to put my fake people on it.
Oh, yeah.
So I put my fake person on it.
Set the trend of filling it out.
Right. Now, my sign-in sheet has several questions on it. It's their name and their email. I don't ask for their phone number. And then it has, are you working with an agent with a yes, no, where you circle? Are you a neighbor with a yes, no, where you circle? Do you want to receive listings about your neighborhood or a subdivision report? Yes, no. Like there's several yes, no questions. Okay. Only one person filled it out.
Okay.
Whatever.
I appreciate your transparency.
Thank you. Well, I did a terrible job of being like, fill this out. Because here's the other thing. If you're talking to one person and another person comes in, the logistics can be difficult because that stuff is on the kitchen counter and I'm in the foyer or in the other wing of the house. Like and my assistant isn't required to ask people to sign in.
Yeah.
Jay.
I was going to say.
He's just there for looks.
Yeah, Jay's like, hi.
He did chat up some people.
I'm sure he did.
It's fine.
So friendly.
So friendly. And then, again, I told you when my lull was, I told you that here, if you don't have a J to take for safety, here are a couple of my other safety tips. Be very mindful of how you park.
Yes.
Never park in the driveway where you could get blocked in. Always park in a fashion that you could easily get away. Always keep your car key in your pocket. I am very adamant about not wearing like a dress or a skirt or something without pockets if I'm at an open house. I have to have my key and my phone in my pocket. So how do you park? Are you carrying your keys? And know your exits. Know which things are locked, which ways are easy to get out, and be aware of like, are there parts of the house where you cannot escape? Then I would never go into that area maybe with a stranger.
Right.
Like I'm not going into the primary closet.
Yeah, right.
You know, like there's not there's not even a window here. And I will also step outside quite frequently onto the back porch or whatever. This house was great because the back porch is on like a little lake view and there's no fence. Like talk about easy run. If I got to run, this place was great.
Yeah. You're so worried.
You should be.
Okay.
You're exposed.
Keep going.
You're holding. I hear you.
Exposed. Keep going, Mom.
Okay, and then that was really it. That was the end of my case study. I think it went well.
I think that was a great case study to break your open house dry cycle.
And I didn't do all the steps.
Yeah, but
it's still
enough
my sellers were happy.
Yeah,
I left the cookies for them. I left the balloons for them.
When I'm in an open house, I start a note in the notes section of my phone.
Yeah,
and I try to make notes on people that came in, like, oh, this couple came in. They were at a friend's house next door. Because I feel like the sellers just want so much information.
Well, the more you tell them, the less they're going to pepper you with questions.
Right. And I want to send it at 4:01.
Yeah.
So I am writing the whole open house.
Yeah.
I'm also trying to make a list of positive comments and negative comments.
That's a good idea.
So, hey, everybody loved this. They did mention that, not having a true pantry was sort of an issue. But just, I want to do both. And sometimes I'll add in my own, like things while I'm in the house for 2 hours staring at it. Like, hey, maybe this light bulb is out or this light bulb doesn't match or anything to just generate some level of feedback. So when I leave the house, they have something valuable in their email immediately.
Yeah.
You know how we always say like our email templates are to prevent them reaching out to us first and constantly saying, when does the appraisal happen? When does this happen? That is also my open house goal is that I want to give them the feedback before they have time to be like, how did it go? What happened? I'm like, oh, here's all your information.
Yeah. The nice thing for me on this particular one was, I actually had to shoo out my past client, the neighbor. I was like, hey, they do live here and they will be coming back. And it was a couple minutes after 4. And I started, I'm like, hey, I'm just going to pack up because I got to be out of their way. So when I was getting in the car, my client, it's like 4:05, 4:10, they were driving back up. So I was able to download them all of the information in person.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to send the email. But the email is a great idea, but you do need to do it right away.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Okay.
That's all I have.
This was
so
a great
good revisit. I still think that they are helpful.
Yeah.
I still think they're a good marketing tool.
There's only one thing you forgot.
Oh, yeah. Also, while you're there, get your content.
Yeah. If no one shows up and you have what I would like to call a virtual open house, it's still successful.
Yeah.
People still saw that house. Put it on your stories. Make a reel.
Yeah.
Like, bring along with you some props that work for that house. Do coffees or like a glass of wine, like pour. Like, make some content while you're there that you could use for yourself too, not just that house. But do some stuff for the house. Walk down the street.
Yeah.
There's
so much to do.
There's a lot of opportunity
it's
there.
Never a waste of time if you bring stuff to do.
Never a waste of time. And I logistically don't think they're that difficult. honestly, I didn't spend that much time prepping,
Right.
and it was fine.
Yeah.
Better than I would have expected, honestly.
Me too.
And I mean, truly, more showings than we had the whole time we were listed.
Very good point. I didn't think about that.
So we doubled our showings in one open house.
Mhm.
Does it mean that I want to go back and do another one next weekend? Not really, but I will if I have to.
So I'm doing one on Sunday in
Okay.
a very pretty neighborhood preserve.
Well, great.
And I'm excited about it because I am going to go run the neighborhood when I finish.
Oh, that's your treat.
That's my treat. I'm bringing all my change of clothes and my running shoes, and I'm going to go run the neighborhood. I don't live in a neighborhood, so I can't go.
You're right. This is why it's a treat for you.
I'm always finding neighborhoods to run in.
I love that.
So I'm
Okay,
excited.
well, I can't wait for you to report back to us.
Yes.
Oh, and did we tell them episode 11 is where you need to go back for the
That's a
original
good one.
how-to?
Mhm.
Okay, that's it. Shall we toast?
Yes. Here's a tip.
Okay, goodbye.
Hi, this is Elena Barnett from San Antonio, Texas, and Dallas, Texas. And I am toasting Tom and Nena Torres from Clearview Realty in El Paso, Texas. They have been just so inspirational from the organization that they have grown and are a great referral partner for me in El Paso.